Looking to buy a house in Mountain View? Well, that's where I'm here right now. So I'm more specifically in downtown Mountain View, it's more specifically Castro Street. So Castro Street is named after a prominent landowner in the 1900s called Marion Castro. And this area was once just a dirt road, but now it's become one of the most vibrant, exciting areas in the entire Bay Area. So it's a little bit early in the day here at Castro Street, so I'm just walking around. You can see it feels a little bit more quiet, but there's a lot of people out here already, enjoying their brunch out here in Mountain View, enjoying the nice weather. One thing I really see in this area is just a lot of nice restaurants, a lot of cafes, a lot of places to shop. So it's definitely a nice place to walk around. And especially since COVID, the city has really made an effort to make it even more pedestrian friendly. You can see now that they're closing roads here. You can see a lot of places for outdoor dining. I see a place where you could play a cornhole or something like that. So yeah, this really feels more like instead of like your normal downtown area, it feels more like a shopping center. I can see a lot of places walking around, just enjoying the weather, getting a bite to eat. So yeah, Castro Street is definitely an exciting place to be. So now let's talk more about Mountain View. So Mountain View is the 4th most populous city in the entire Santa Clara County, and it's known for 3 main things. One is the home of Google. So Google has its global headquarters called Googleplex, which is based out here. Second, NASA also has a presence out here called the NASA Ames Research Center. And third, there's a famous outdoor concert called the Shoreline Amphitheater, which draws the biggest acts in all of entertainment. So from a location standpoint, Mountain View is in a prime location. So located right in between the peninsula and Santa Clara County. So it's just really convenient to go to both places. You can take the 101 and just go up to San Francisco, but you're also in Santa Clara County, so you just drive east and you enjoy the rest of Santa Clara County. Right here in downtown Mountain View, the Caltrain station is also really close to here. So literally just walking distance, so you might not even need a car just to get around the rest of Santa Clara County and the entire Bay Area. So with its proximity to so many tech jobs and really great public schools, it's no surprise that Mountain View is a really desirable place to live. And recently, it just passed San Francisco as the most expensive place to rent in the entire Bay Area. So in this video, I'm going to show you different homes in different neighborhoods all around the city of Mountain View with houses that just closed escrow, like literally just a few days ago. I'll show you homes that closed below the median price here in Mountain View, about the median sale price in Mountain View, and also way above the median sale price in Mountain View. So you can get the entire range of what type of houses you can buy here in Mountain View. And make sure to stick till the end, because at the end of this video, I'm going to show you a market report of the housing market here in Mountain View. So if you're planning to move to Mountain View, you definitely don't want to miss out on this. So if you're new to this channel and you want to know everything there is about living in the Bay Area, then make sure to subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so you can be first to know the current real estate market here in the Bay Area. My name's Austin, and I get calls and emails every single day from people just like you who are planning to make that move in the Bay Area and completely love it now. So whether you're making that move in 9 days or 9 days, be sure to give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or send an appointment on Calendly, and I promise I'll help you make a smooth move here in the entire Bay Area. Alright, so now let's go check out some houses. So for our first house, we're going to drive 10 minutes north where we just were in downtown Mountain View and drive into this neighborhood called the North Shoreline neighborhood and check out this house that just sold right behind me. So this house that sold right behind me is a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,182 square feet, and it sold for $1.825 million, which is about $1,544 price per square foot. So about $1.825 million, that's actually way below median price here in Mountain View. So this is probably as cheap as you're going to get a house here in Mountain View. The reason why this house is a little bit on the lower end here in Mountain View is, one, it's closely located to Highway 101. So even though Highway 101, it is a very good highway that's very convenient, you can drive to San Francisco. It is a very busy highway because a lot of tech companies are based out there, and I can hear a lot of cars right behind me. Almost feels like I can hear cars driving really quickly. So that's one trade-off you're going to have if you live out here. But I'm sure once you're inside the house, it should be okay. It's not like unbearably loud, but walking out here, it's very audibly noticeable that there's a busy highway right behind me. Another reason why this house might be on the lower end here in Mountain View is because the school district is not mapped as well. This actually does not map to the most high schools here in Mountain View. This house here, even though it's in the city of Mountain View, it maps to Fremont High School, which is not a bad high school in itself, but it is lower tier compared to most high schools here in Mountain View, compared to Mountain View High School or Los Altos High School. So that's also one thing to consider. But overall, this neighborhood is still a very nice neighborhood. As you can see, there's a school right behind me here, so literally you're just walking distance from a school. So that's also one thing to consider. It's going to feel very safe, and if you have young kids, you can just walk to school. So that's a very nice thing about it. What else? You're really closely located to Google, into it. In the Shoreline Amphitheater, literally just one highway exit away. Since you're so close to 101, a lot of those corporations like to be near highways anyway. So, if you work in tech, you're literally super close to all these offices. So, that thing is super convenient. And also, you're located to a lot of shopping centers as well, as Ring Store Plaza is about a 5-minute drive. So there's an In-N-Out there, there's a Costco there, there's McDonald's, Krispy Kreme, so many restaurants out there in that area. So, from an amenity standpoint, there's also a lot that's really closely nearby. So, even though this is considered maybe on the lower end here in Mountain View, this is definitely not a bad neighborhood. It still feels very safe, feels very quiet, feels very empty. Obviously, like I said, it does feel a little bit noisy because of the highway, but other than that, this is a very solid place here in Mountain View. Because Mountain View in itself is all a very solid place. So this is like the worst it can be. So just telling you, it doesn't have everything that you might want, but there's definitely a lot of good things for sure. All right, with that, let's go check out the next house. So for our next house, we're gonna drive 10 minutes south of Just Were and go check out this neighborhood called the Miramonte neighborhood, and check out this house that sold right behind me. So this house that sold right behind me is a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,286 square feet, and it sold for $2.75 million. So that's about $21.45 price per square foot. So if you're looking for your standard median sale price here in Mountain View, a general house, this will probably be it. It's a one story, built about the 1950s, ranch style. This is generally what you're going to find here in Mountain View. So the reason why this house sold significantly higher than the house that we saw earlier is because, one, it maps to a better high school. It maps to Los Altos High School, which is a 9 out of 10 in the grade school ratings. It's a 10 out of 10 test score. So this is probably one of the best high schools in the entire Bay Area. It's also closely located to El Camino Real. So El Camino Real is a nice busy road with a lot of amenities, a lot of shops, a lot of restaurants. So it's only a 2-minute drive from here. So you're not like right there where it's like kind of noisy, but you're also close enough where you can drive out there. It's also very convenient. So that's one really great part about this neighborhood. Another great part of this neighborhood, you're closely located to Mountain View Community Center, which is, where you can play a lot of sports, or a lot of, community activities are based out there, or it's just a great place to walk around. There's nice paved roads, beautiful scenery. So you have a lot of great things very closely located to here. So as you can see, this neighborhood, it's very quiet and peaceful as well. It feels very safe, just like most neighborhoods here in Mountain View. So if you're looking for a really great neighborhood to live in Mountain View, this neighborhood here in Miramonte really checks a lot of those boxes. All right, so let's go check out some other houses. So for our next house, we're gonna drive 10 minutes east where we just were and go to where we just started this video actually, in the downtown Mountain View area. So this house behind me that just sold, it's a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,407 square feet. So it sold for $2.75 million. So that's about $1,954 price per square foot. So again, right at the median sale price, very similarly to the house we saw in the Miramonte neighborhood. So I think the really cool thing about Mountain View is that there's different neighborhoods even at the same price point. Because maybe a lot of cities, if you're stuck at one price point, you're just kind of boxed into one neighborhood. But in Mountain View, that's clearly not the case. So one really good thing about this neighborhood in particular, it's really close to the Cal train station and Castro Street, downtown Mountain View. So it's about 0.6 miles away, so that's only a 15-minute walk. So honestly, you could live in this house and you don't necessarily even need a car, because you could just walk to the Cal train station and then it gets you across the entire Bay Area. And also not to mention just being close to downtown Mountain View, restaurants and shops, just walking distance. I think one slight trade-off though is that the high school that maps to this neighborhood is slightly lower. It actually maps to Mountain View High School, which is about 8 out of 10 on the grade school ratings, but still 10 out of 10 test score. So, relative to the Bay Area, it's still on the upper tier, but compared to the Miramonte neighborhood, it's slightly lower. So as you can see, with a lot of houses, a lot of neighborhoods about real estate, there's gonna be trade-offs, right? There might be things in Miramonte that are better at this house, in this neighborhood, but there'll probably be things in this neighborhood that are better in the Miramonte neighborhood. So it kind of comes down to what do you value, right? Because once you figure out what do you value, what do you find most important? Is it like the amenities, or is it like the school districts? Then we can figure out what's the perfect house that suits your needs. So overall, this neighborhood, even though it's near downtown Mountain View, you would generally expect it to be a little bit older, roads a little more narrow, maybe the sidewalk not nicely as maintained, but honestly, it doesn't feel much different than the neighborhood in the Miramonte neighborhood. It feels very safe. The roads are very wide too, and it feels like a really nice, safe environment. So this is definitely not a bad neighborhood at all to be in. All right, so with that, let's go check out some other houses. All right, so for our last house, we're going to one of the nicest neighborhoods in Mountain View, and this is called the Grant neighborhood. So the Grant neighborhood is a neighborhood nearby Grant Road. So Grant Road is one of the main streets here in Mountain View, and it has a nice shopping center, and it's also closely located to Highway 237, which takes you across the entire Bay Area from west to east. So this house that just sold right behind me is built in 2023. It's a 6-bed, 5.5 bath, 3,910 square feet, and it sold for $4.6 million. So that's about $1,200 price per square foot. So you can see this house is absolutely beautiful. This grand neighborhood is really awesome. It's really nice. Nice about this grand neighborhood is that these lots are very, very big, right? Like this house we just saw earlier, they're about like 1,500 square feet entirely. This house by itself is 3,900 square feet. So I think that's why this grand neighborhood is very desirable. But honestly, from a price per square footage point, it's actually a lot cheaper than most houses, right? Most houses we saw were about 1,800, even about 2,000 price per square foot. Here it's about 1,200. So you do get a little bit more value. So if you love Mountain View, but you don't want to live in a traditional cookie cutter house like 1950s, one-story ranch style house, it's good to know that there are houses in the market that are popping up that are absolutely beautiful, look contemporary, and look really nice. From an amenity standpoint, this house is actually not much different than most other neighborhoods here in the area. This school that maps to this house is actually Mountain View High School, so 8 out of 10 grade school ratings, a 10 out of 10 test score, so very similar to what we saw in the downtown Mountain View neighborhood. But the nice part of this grand neighborhood, not every house is going to be as expensive as the house we just saw. As you can see in this neighborhood, most of these houses are still on the older side. So, if you can't afford that $4.6 million price tag, like I'm sure most of us can't, this neighborhood is still very attainable at a lower price point. Obviously, it's probably a little more expensive than the other neighborhoods that we saw, like the Miramonte or downtown Mountain View, but it'll still be cheaper than 4.6. So, that's good to know. For other amenities that this area has, you have the Grand Park Plaza, so it's a nice shopping center. It has a Ranch 99, which is a Chinese supermarket. And there's also a really nice urgent healthcare center that's nearby, so you don't have health issues, it's just good to have those facilities nearby. Overall, this neighborhood, again, doesn't feel much different. It's a bit more wider, it's a little more spacious than other neighborhoods we saw, but it's not significantly better. I would just say the main value of this neighborhood is just that your houses are just a lot bigger, so you're a lot more spacious. All right, with that, let's go back to the office and get you that market report. All right, so I'm now back in the home office. So here's our market report for houses that just sold in Mountain View in April 2024. The good news is in April, 30 houses were sold in Mountain View, which is up from 14 from March, so that's more than double inventory. But the bad news is the price of these homes are continually going up. The median sale home price in April is $2.75 million, whereas in March it was $2.529 million. Also, the average sale price per square foot was $1,924, whereas in March it was $1,749, so that's about a 9% increase in just 1 month. Also, the average sale price is 113% above the listed price. So what that tells me is often there's multiple offers on these houses. So often the winning bid needs to go higher than the listed price. Also expect to pay more than the listed price in your house search. So be sure when you're searching for homes, search a bit lower than your initial budget. Also, the median time a house has been on the market here in Mountain View is 8 days. So, what that tells me is when you go shopping for homes, it's important to be pre-approved first so you can write an offer on a house immediately, since most of these listing agents will start reviewing offers the Wednesday after the first open house. So currently there's good news, there's a little bit more inventory on the market right now. There's 64 active listings. So there's 22 active listings for single family homes, 25 active listings for condos, and 17 active listings for townhomes. The highest active listing is just under $4 million, while the lowest listing is a condo for just under $500,000. So if you're looking to buy a house, I recommend to get in contact with me as soon as possible. Set an online appointment with me so we can best equip you to get a house you love at a great price. Because these housing prices are only going up. And if you happen to live in Mountain View right now, or have lived in Mountain View in the past, feel free to share in the comments what you think potential movers would find useful. So hopefully you found this helpful. If you have any real estate questions or needs in the Bay Area, feel free to contact me. All right, see you soon.